Welcome to Fur's greatest podcast in the world. Cord is off at Pride Fest doing some shit. This is pretty much us doing our best to do it while Cord's gone.
It's okay, Cord. Your podcast is in good hands. Get the fireworks. Let's continue before we get flagged for inappropriate content.
Oh, please. If we're going to get flagged, we got flagged a long time ago.
We're flagged automatically. Anyway, who is our special? And it's like the first female in eternity in here, so please...
That's not true. Last week we had Raven.
Okay, it's the first female who doesn't have an awesome accent.
I know.
Suitor.
Now you're making Monty feel bad. Good job, Cobalt.
No, she's badass.
Yeah, so we've been seeing what the final designs of these are supposed to look like. For those who don't know, there is a new live-action Ninja Turtles movie coming out. I air quotes live action on that because it's using CGI. Although, granted, it's not like something like Transformers where I'd almost go so far as to call it animated, because it's not like you could have real people emulating those robots at all. It's all just computers. With Ninja Turtles, you have actors that are standing in, and then they use computers later on them to kind of make it look good. So the look of them, because I've actually seen action figures of these things in stores now, so we know for sure. Okay, this is what they're going to look like, as well as like some of the final trailers that they have out. And I gotta say, I have to agree with one of the individuals whose name escapes me, but he is one of the creators of the Ninja Turtles when he came up with them back in the 1980s and co-created them in an indie comic. He basically looked at the designs that they're using for the movie and basically said they're trying to fix something that's not broken. And I couldn't agree with that more, because what they've done is they've tried to personalize each of the turtles, like trying to bring more of their personality out, and that's not bad. It's just that some of it seems a little ridiculous. Like Leonardo kind of has like some samurai stuff on. You don't need armor when you have shells on. It seems really redundant.
Hold on.
And then, but the biggest thing has got to be their faces.
They're creepy.
They're like over detailed as hell.
Yeah, it's kind of the same problem I had with Transformers, where they just look dumb. Like, they have these big lips and just, like, I'm sorry, just that's what I noticed about them most. I'm not trying to say that there's any kind of racism or stereotyping in the way they look, but...
Was that in the first place, but okay.
I may or may not have been thinking of a comment on that, but I chose to not say it.
No, it's like the faces
really
are the big thing that sit wrong.
You know what
with
it reminds me of? It reminds me of. Do you guys remember the Cat in the Hat with what's his face?
Oh, Mike Myers. Yeah,
Mike Myers. Do you remember Thing 1 and Thing 2?
Oh my god!
God.
That's
I
what
drink to forget about them.
Creepy. Like, honestly. Okay, but no, it kind of reminds me of that in the way that they're trying to make it look a certain way, but they don't have to, and it throws it all off. I mean, like, turtles don't have eyes that small, if you haven't noticed. They have big-ass eyes. I have turtles downstairs.
I honestly think if they wanted to fix it, they could have done it in a different, less, like, more subtle way. Like, if they even wanted to attempt to change the designs of them at all, they could have done it in a far more subtle way than just over-detailing them and just make them look, like, creepy as shit.
Like, you want to talk about over-detailing? Look at Shredder.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm no longer just going to have a couple swords. I'm going to have like 20 swords that shoot out and chase after you.
Shredder is basically just this Bay-esque transformer. That's all it is. Because
exactly.
with all those fucking like sound effects and crazy noises that come out of him, and it's like, it doesn't make any damn sense.
Yo, dog, I heard you like knives.
Hey, that's the Michael Bay in the movie.
Yeah.
But getting back to the turtles themselves, it's like they don't look anything like any incarnations of the turtles that have come before. Yeah. And I kind of get this feeling that when they came up with the designs, it's basically just a list of what they don't know what they wanted it to be. They just know what they don't want it to be. They don't want it to be any of the animated shows. They don't want it to be the comics. They don't want it to be any of the previous movies. It's kind of like what Man of Steel was, to where it's like they don't know what they want it to be. They don't know what kind of identity to give it, but they know what they don't want to emulate. And I mean, and I'm not even talking about the movie or the story itself. That might be pretty good, and I might be genuinely surprised. I'm just saying that the look of them just doesn't kind of sit right with with me. Also, Raphael especially, his arms are ginormous. Like, he has Popeye arms. It is ridiculous. And again, I know what they're...
Did you know? That's why he's so green. All he eats is spinach.
Oh, Jesus.
It doesn't seem right. Like, it does, like, the proportions on his arms and shoulders are ridiculous. Like,
Because he had steroids on his pizza.
I guess, damn, because, like, and again, it's all just part of, well, they want to make him look visually like the tough guy, and I'm like, you could do that other ways than making him look like a freak. Like, I know they're mutants, but...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... You know, I don't have high hopes for this, and, you know, for a number of reasons.
High hopes for anything Michael Bay.
No. And granted, I do understand that Michael Bay is not the director, he is the producer, but he is part of the creative team, so I can still kind of fault him for that.
Yeah, no, it's even worse because he's freaking producing this crap.
Yeah. He is. So I have to wonder if any of you read some of the synopsis for the supposed leaked script that came out like a year or so ago.
Yeah, no, it turned me right off when they said they're changing them from mutants to aliens. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What?
Well, that was...
What's with that?
Well, that's not what's going to be in the final movie. They've changed that, obviously, because they knew how people were turned off. It was just that there was a script that was leaked that supposedly it was an inside job because people that were working on it or people that were funding the film hated that script so much that they leaked it. Like I said, that's the rumor. But the script that got leaked was basically, this was essentially Transformers all over again, to where, like, the title characters are barely in the film. It's all about the humans, and it's like, why should we give a shit?
That's annoying.
That's very annoying.
That's probably, I mean, that's obviously not the case here, because, I mean, the movie, I mean, the trailers don't look too bad, and I will admit, I'm surprised that Johnny Knoxville actually sounds appropriate as Leonardo.
That was actually not that bad. I was like, how the hell did you manage that?
Yeah, same here.
Them skills.
Yeah, because when I first heard that Johnny Knoxville was cast as Leonardo, I'm like, okay, obviously not my first choice, but you do have to admit, Johnny Knoxville does have talent as an actor.
Yes, he does. Just putting it out there, though, what's his face? Michelangelo, there's the one. When Michelangelo took his mask off at the freaking thing, if you've seen the one before the edited trailer, their eyes were about the size of pinheads. Like, they had... The eye holes for their mask were like from one side of their face to the other, and their eyes covered 3% of that. There was no point to it at all. And I don't understand why they would do that. But, I mean, what do you want? Personally, I don't know if I'm going to go see it. To be honest with you, it doesn't feel like it's canon to the actual series. And of course, Michael Bay, knowing him, he likes to take things in different directions, which he really shouldn't. I mean, with popular things like what he did with Transformers, the first one was the second one was okay. The one pissed me off.
I thought he wasn't even part of the first one.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, Michael Bay directed he has so far directed all 4 of the Transformers films that have come out. And
The fourth one, all it was good for is if you don't feel like hearing anymore.
I've only seen the first and second, so.
The thing is, the only thing that I will give Michael Bay is that he does action scenes very well.
Yeah, it's this thing of Bay does have talent and he can make a good movie. It's just that I don't think he was the right fit for this or any other pre-established source material because it doesn't line up with what his interests are in making a film.
Yes. Do you know who would have made a great voice for Master Splinter? Mr. Miyagi. You know Mr. Miyagi from The Karate Kid?
That's Pat Morita.
He would have made a great freaking...
Well, unfortunately, he's no longer with us.
Yes, which really sucks because he was awesome.
Which is also kind of a shame that Mako is no longer with us because I loved him as Splinter in that CGI animated film they did not too long ago.
That was not that bad.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that film.
The last TMNT movie I've seen is the old like 90s.
The one where they're in the freaking bodysuits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
my favorite one. I love it.
That's
so
the
much.
last one I've seen. So
yeah, those first
really
2 movies are actually kind of still fun to watch.
Yeah, you watch them; they're amusing.
The third one could go fuck itself.
The first one was just like, what are you doing in those things? Honestly, you can tell there were people. It was just like fursuits before fursuits were a thing.
They had animatronics.
Yeah, that's very true. But the second one wasn't that bad. I actually somewhat enjoyed the second one. I don't know about this one, guys. I really don't. Just the animation kind of just feels off. The story feels off. It's Michael Bay, which is already feeling off.
Yeah, the look at the turtles, I mean, it just does not sit right with me, and I think there's like an uncanny valley kind of esque feeling to it when I look at them. It's just
like I said, they look creepy now. Taking it away from the fact that TMNT used to be a children's thing.
And just
now they're trying to make it more adult.
Just putting it out there, because it is Michael Bay, there's going to be an obligatory love scene.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Between the
I can't
turtle.
wait to see that shit.
I won't say that, but I will say one last thing about that trailer. So the trailer features a shot of like some big tower and everything just exploding and falling down.
Yeah.
Why do I get the feeling I've seen that in like every other trailer this year or in the years past?
This sparked upon me because for some reason I've gotten addicted to Tumblr. For no apparent reason. But what ended up happening was I saw a post that was like, there was this girl. She was doing a cover of one of Jimi Hendrix songs. I cannot remember for the life of me what song it is. Give me
Purple Rain.
Oh God, I wish it was that, but it wasn't. It was it was Crosstown Traffic. That's the one. Crosstown Traffic by Jimi Hendrix. And the artist is called Jess Greenberg. If you look at the video, she is an absolute wonderful artist, or not artist, performer. She is extremely talented. She has a great voice, but she has something that a lot of people are getting controversial about. Namely, her boobs are kind of, there. They're pronounced.
So?
And
I was gonna say, how?
No. Let me get into it. A lot
They're
of people
floating.
are like, oh, you guys are just in this for the boobs, and for a good portion of them are. However, what people don't realize, and what's kind of pissing me off, is that that's on purpose, honey. That's called a gimmick. And let me get into what gimmicks are. Gimmicks are something that attracts the attention of a target audience. I can speak English goodly. Target audience. And the audience that she's trying to target is our generation, the young adults.
Boobs.
Yeah. So,
That generation.
Yeah, pretty much. But the problem is the music that she's doing, or the music that anyone would ever do, nobody's just going to go, oh, I wonder what this is, click on it and look and listen to it. Not everyone's like that. A lot of people are very visual. The first thing that they notice is something visual. So what you do is you have a gimmick or an appearance, something that grabs the eye of the person, that brings them in, like, okay, what's this? Then they click on the link or they search you up, and then they see your music, and then they're like, okay, let's listen to this. Let's see what they can do. That's what a gimmick is. The big problem with people is that they don't understand just how important gimmicks are. As an artist and a performer, I know that gimmicks are extremely important. A gimmick is something that's going to get people to go, hey, why don't we look at this guy? Let's see what he can do. It's been done for, since the beginning of music. I mean, Elvis was the Heartbreaker. The Beatles, all four of them had a different thing. The only one I can really remember is Paul McCartney was quote-unquote dead because the real Paul McCartney was right-handed and this guy was left-handed, and this was like a doppelganger. All the 80s bands had the big wigs and the freaking 32,000 tons of freaking hair products and freaking platform shoes because that was in. That was the thing that brought people into it. And then they played the music, and it's like, oh, okay, this is pretty catchy. That's how it always works. And let's give a recent-ish, because she's still kind of relevant, Gaga. And we all know Gaga.
Gaga's always relevant.
That's probably one of the most obvious things. Gaga, Madonna, for the rocker fans out there, Marilyn Manson.
Yes.
Back to the Pop, Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, they all do the shock factor, something that's something that stands out, that pops out from the rest of it, or something that's like, oh, okay, what's going on here? But
Miley Cyrus.
No. She's pushing attention away.
Actually, no, she's gaining way more attention than she's pushing away.
Yeah, I know.
But that's not what she did before as far as the attention factor. Like when she first came out as "This Is Me, Deal With It," she looked like she was trying to get more freaking attention than
She looked like she was trying to be
trying to push away.
But you got to think about it. That's music, though. You always got to try to outdo your competition.
Yes,
yeah.
And that's the thing. Gimmicks are something that brings the attention to you, and it's very important.
there's something to be said about artists who pull off a gimmick and it actually seems okay, and sometimes when it just makes them look desperate, like, look at me, look at me! Like, that's what I felt when all this Miley Cyrus stuff was going down, and it was one of the reasons why people want to make parodies and stuff to try to make fun at them or anything.
You're still
I like
giving
to do
that artist attention.
I like to do something that's even more detrimental to them and pay no acknowledgement to them at all. Because because it's like, what's the worst thing you can do to any artist, performer, whatever, when they do shit like this is ignore them.
That's the big thing. And that's the problem. Gimmicks, they're either really good or they're really bad, but they do their job. Miley Cyrus is one of the bad ones because, honey, she's a mess. But it works. Look at all the attention she's getting.
Yeah, it got people talking.
Or J-Lo. Remember? No, not J-Lo. Not Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez. She has the body. She was showing off her body.
Yeah.
She was making it look how sexy I am. And now listen to my music while I'm looking extremely sexy. Or the person I was trying to get to.
Lindsay Lohan?
Lindsay Lohan. There you go.
She's actually out of rehab now.
Yeah, she is. And
there's a documentary on her after trying to live a normal life.
Yeah.
She'll be back in a week.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, then there's freaking Amanda Bynes, where she had that little flare-up. Or, I mean, like...
Little flare-up?
Compared to freaking Lopez, or... Not Lopez. Lohan.
When and when.
But compared to Lohan, it was really, really, really short. Because, I mean, she only went to rehab once.
Nope. She was in rehab 4 times.
While we're talking about shock factor, I have to say, while we're talking about shock factor for attention, Eminem is the first thing that came into my head.
Yeah,
but Eminem does good with it.
No, but he works.
He knew how to do it right. He was doing it right and got all this negative attention, and yet at the same time, all this positive attention because of it.
You're always going to get a certain amount of people who don't like your gimmick, who think, oh, it's really stupid, you're stupid. But those people are getting more attention than all the others because they're trying to make their opinions matter. In the sea of positive, the negative is always going to try to spread out.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So really, if you don't like someone's gimmick, just ignore it. Just if someone brings it up, I don't really like it. It's not my thing. Don't be like, oh, I hate this, and then go on every forum that you're on. It's like, oh, I hate this guy because he does this. But it just brings more attention to them.
Yeah.
The big thing. Gimmicks do a really good job at what they're supposed to do. Whether there's something that you like or something that you don't, gimmicks do their job. The only gimmick that fails is the gimmick that doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
Yep.
When no one talks about it.
Yes. Yeah. So, for example, going back to this Jess Greenberg person, a lot of people are like, oh, she has big boobs and like she's really hot. And there are some people who are like, you do better as a model than a performance artist, which honestly I don't think is true. She has an unbelievably beautiful body, but she's unbelievably talented as well. But that's
Cobalt pictures are naked.
Honey, I picture everyone naked. I'm a slut. What do you want?
I will not reply to that.
You don't have to reply. All you got to do is exist.
I haven't seen this woman, so I...
Anyway, she is absolutely gorgeous, but she's unbelievably talented. But that's her gimmick. That's her thing. She wears something that brings up her breasts, makes her look a little more, risque. And she plays the guitar and sings. And the people who want to listen to her play the guitar and sings subscribe. And she has almost 600,000 subscribers. But how do you think she got there? Because she knew what she was doing. She showed her body off a little more, got the people like, oh, she's hot. And then the people, oh, she's hot, sent it to everyone else because they're like, oh, she's hot. And then some of the people who liked her music, started watching her. And so, with that, they sent it to all their other friends. Who were like, well, check out this music. That's how she got popular, but that's her gimmick. That's how she got it. That's how she got going. And for anyone who's like, no, that's not her gimmick, stop, you don't know what you're talking about, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something very interesting. I've been playing the guitar for 6 years. I, for the most part, have double Ds. So, no, I'm totally joking. I do not have breasts. I have friends, 2 of my friends who are chicks, who play guitar, and they play guitar very, very well. But it's proving a point. When you play the guitar, your guitar is over your chest. So your boob is not sitting on top of it, it's under it. So to show it off, you have to purposely do that. You have to wear something that purposely shows it off. That right there is telling you she's doing that on purpose. It's a gimmick, and that's how she gets the attention. And that's how people get their attention. They do something that's out of the ordinary. That gets people like, oh, okay, you bastard.
Con safety. Should I start with out of suit or in suit?
Let's go with
Either
out of
way
suit, because the
works.
majority are out of suit.
Out of suit. Condoms.
Yes.
Evil side is in present.
Yes.
Yeah, but also out of suit, especially for people going to AC, please be very careful at night around Pittsburgh. I have a good story of me and my close friend Kale. Him and I we went to go see the fireworks. Turns out the fireworks weren't at that time, so we were walking back to our hotel room to wait. Well, it turns out that as we're walking up, we see some guy laying flat on his back in the middle of the sidewalk. We're like, what the hell? So we walk up, are you okay? As soon as he say that, he jumps up to start swearing at us, threatening to beat the shit out of us. And it's like, what the hell?
What?
Yeah, seriously.
Little did he know, Shock was military and likely could have disarmed him and killed him right on the spot.
Oh, yeah. I could tell he was drunk. We could smell the alcohol on him. But it was like, I was standing behind him, my friend was standing in front of him, and I was yelling at my friend. If he tried anything, I would have grabbed him. But
Wait, was he an attendee or just some random ass guy?
random ass guy from Pittsburgh.
What the fuck?
And then another story I heard from one of my friends. He was walking on the bridge by the convention center, and some person's girlfriend was waving at him. The boyfriend pulls out a knife on him.
What?
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So please be. I don't want to say Pittsburgh's a horrible place because any city downtown is dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying any city in general, the downtown's usually pretty bad.
Yeah. No, but
Except for, I don't want to toot my horn being from Winnipeg, except for Winnipeg, downtown's not that bad anymore, but you want to avoid the north end.
yeah.
But anyways, yeah, be wary of your surroundings. I want to say...
For
Another
my
story.
Canadian friends, can I just say it really quick first? Yeah. For my Canadian friends, look, I know we have free healthcare, so we jaywalk like sons of bitches. Don't do it in the United States because you can't go back to get your healthcare. You got to pay for it there.
But
Technically, you guys do still pay for that, but it comes out of your taxes.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
do you know how much we pay a year for healthcare and taxes? $60.
I'm
That's
just
it.
saying.
Anyways, yeah, be careful of that. Like I said at the very beginning, jokingly, do use condoms.
Yes, please, because STDs are not fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have two stories.
I'm not- Yeah,
one
go ahead.
involving what we're talking about now, and another one just con safety in general. One involving what we're talking about now. I don't know who's heard of Evil Saib.
I have.
I
he
have, but have never wanted to.
He was banned from Further Confusion, a con in San Jose. No, he wasn't only banned, they got a restraining order against him. If he sets foot on the hotel that Further Confusion is held in, not even when the con's going, he will get arrested on the spot. Because at Further Confusion a couple years ago, I think it was like in like 2009,
Yeah.
he was trying, keep in mind, Saib has AIDS. It's either AIDS or HIV.
Jesus.
Really, I
He
didn't know
was
that.
trying to spread HIV through Further Confusion, and they said they held him against the wall and said, like the security held him against the wall and said, we're gonna make it so if you set foot in this hotel, you're gonna get arrested. You know what he did? He laughed and walked off and drove back home. And then another story that I have involving just con safety in general. I don't know who's heard of the show on the Sci-Fi Network called The Will Wheaton Project. My grandfather watches The Will Wheaton Project, and he told me a story about a video at an anime convention where this fursuiter was walking around, and then this one guy, biggest dick in the world, walks up with a Zippo, and he whispers to the camera, "Watch, I'm gonna kill it with fire." Lights her tail, and the girl's freaking out, trying to get her tail off, but it's made of acrylic.
Yeah.
So this motherfucker is not going out unless you stomp it out, and she couldn't get it off. And it was getting to the point where it was about where a deer's tail would fucking be, and it was about to spread to the rest of the suit. So they're trying to take it out, and then another fursuiter runs up and rips the tail off. Yeah. And the guys are trying to run. Security is hauling ass after these guys tackles them. Yeah. And bans them from the con, and they are both in federal prison right now for attempted murder.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
Will
that's-
Wheaton, get this. Keep in mind, Will Wheaton, I don't know, this isn't really on topic, but this is on top of the story. Will Wheaton has a undying hatred for furries for some dumb fuck reason. He was sitting there laughing. Yeah.
Really?
What a piece of shit.
Yeah. I mean,
Wait,
and
what did he say?
to think-
Sorry, I was reading something.
And to think that he was this little innocent little kid in Star Trek: The Next Generation, now he's just a complete douche to us. I don't fucking know why.
You know what? People fear what they don't understand, and unfortunately, he fears furries because he doesn't understand.
Yeah, like, the thing is, like, so the guys who did this, the guys who fucking, I mean, this is no different from going up to a person who is dressed normally and just lighting their clothes on fire.
Yep.
I see that as no different. So yeah, they have every reason to be held in court for attempted murder because that person could very well have been killed because of this asshole.
Okay,
So, I mean,
can we just like really disclaim it now, guys? Don't be afraid of going to Anthrocon now. This is like 1 in a billion chance this happening.
Yeah, because this wasn't even at furry convention. This was at some no-name anime convention somewhere
Look,
else.
you have dangers when you go cosplaying. You have, no matter if it's furry or not, you have all those dangers, and even out of suit, you have dangers. It's just common sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't be an idiot. Don't do, oh, let's do that just because it's fun. If it's not safe, then it's not safe. Just because it's fun doesn't automatically mean it's safe.
yeah, because I mean, going in a fursuit to something like Anthrocon, you know, that's probably cool, and like people are a lot more accepting of that. But when you go to other conventions, you have 50-50 chance of running into just assholes. And
The thing about
I wouldn't
this,
even say
guys,
50-50. It's still rare. The difference is knowing what you're doing. When you're in a city that you're not familiar with, don't go dancing around and parading around like you've been there for 30 years. You have to have a certain amount of safety and a certain amount of respect because you're in somebody else's home. So don't go around doing dumb things. It's not safety and common sense go hand in hand.
the thing about it
But
is,
you got to remember, common sense is not a flower that grows in everyone's garden.
the thing
It's
about
not
it
a
is,
flower that grows in any garden. You have to grow it through the freaking cracks and tiles, man.
for everybody listening, do not be afraid to go to Anthrocon just because I told that story.
Anthrocon-
I mean,
And same with my
Anthrocon
stories.
security-
Don't be afraid of that.
I mean, honestly, Anthrocon security is about as tight as a motherfucking cowboy's
Not-
asshole. I don't
Not
fucking
only
know.
that, Anthrocon is huge. Anthrocon is well accepted by Pittsburgh. If you obviously get the occasional people like you're all a bunch of fur fags, go yiff in hell. You get that everywhere. The difference is in Pittsburgh, you're a lot more safe because it's been around for about 7-8 years there. And no, not 7, 8,
Longer
5,
than
6.
that.
It's going to be the 6th year here. And Pittsburgh and Anthrocon has, like you said, it has very tight security, and it's a very safe area. Let's be honest here. Anthrocon brings in about $4 to $5 million into the economy per year. They're gonna love us.
I know three
Yeah.
that I know three that was just from the hotels last year.
I still remember there was a really heartwarming story about a guy's restaurant who got saved by a bunch
Yeah,
of
the
people.
sandwich shop because the furs were like,
Fernando's.
nah, you do not get between us and our damn food.
Yeah,
You
two told that
Like
story.
Two said, you do not get between a furry and their noms.
doesn't happen, but it's very true. Okay, so Shock and I guess Monty as well, and safety in fursuits.
Safety in fursuits. You got to remember when you're wearing your head, you can see shit.
Like almost nothing.
Depending on the suit, like my main suit, I can see pretty well wide, but anything below the nose, I can't see. So if you're a short fursuiter, I apologize in advance because half the time all I see is tips of ears walking by me.
So cute.
Yeah.
This is a mix of in and out of suit. Don't try to hug a fursuiter from behind.
Yeah.
Or try to
Yeah.
tackle a fursuiter. I came back last year from Anthrocon with a bruised rib.
Yeah, because like honestly, I can tell you this from personal experience because I was in Fursuit one day sitting on the couch and I was sitting there watching TV. I was like watching TV or playing Call of Duty or some shit like that on my Xbox.
In the suit.
And then in suit because I'm just that much of a fucking boss. And then my mom comes up to me, hugs me, and says, "Hey, sugar," and I'm like, "Oh fuck!" I literally get scared so bad I had to check my pants afterwards. So do not approach a fursuiter from behind and touch them because they will probably jump and run.
Yeah, make
If they
sure
don't
you
know
have
Run. They
make sure you have a fursuiter's attention before you ask for hugs or pictures or anything.
There's an easy way to do this. There's an easy way to do this. Tap them on the shoulder.
No.
Yes. Not like slap their shoulder. Make sure first when you approach them, make sure they see you. Then be like, "Can I take a picture? Can I take a picture?" Also, just a little bit of a thing. If they say no, that means no. There's no circumstance towards it. It's just no.
And one of the main reasons why a suitor will say no, and this goes with the safety and suit. If you're overheating, don't try to tough it out. Trust me. Yeah. I'm still recovering from heat exhaustion. It sucks. Yeah. Don't try to tough it out. Don't try to tough it out. Sick. You will make yourself really sick. Because if you're feeling hot and tired, go to Headless Lounge, get some water. Or if you're close to the hotel room, go to your hotel room. Anyways,
we got comics. We've got fanfics. We've got.
I recently found an animated comic that I've just fallen in love with.
Which one is it?
Now you're making me have to go look up the name.
Nah. Search
it's
it
like Prodigal something.
I mean, animation is always nice. Even if it's in GIF form, it's really nice.
Yeah.
What GIFs are you looking at?
My thoughts exactly.
No. And GIFs can be up to, I think, like 20 seconds long, but the files are freaking giant.
Yeah.
Junior Dragon 2.
Oh, I love how to Junior Dragon.
Sorry, I'm scrolling through here.
I wanted to see that so bad.
I mean, we have a lot of animation stuff in it, but the difference between how big animation is and how successful it is the quality. And I mean, we've got a lot of people who can quote-unquote animate. I mean, any old guy can go in and get an animation software and do a 10-second little thing. The difference is how well can you do it?
Exactly.
How well do you think, what kind of quality standards do you think someone has to have in order for it to start being successful?
Oh, Cobalt, by the way, I found the name. It's called Prodigal Angel.
Yes. I've heard of it.
Yeah, I'm on episode 21 right now.
Damn.
I think while we're talking about animations, I might as well mention one thing that I saw. I was looking at coverage from Wild Nights 2012, and they showed one animation called "Let Your Love Flow." I mean, I have yet to see anything animated as well as that was.
That was a lot of fun.
It was near perfection. I loved it.
What about the Raccoons?
You know which one was one of my favorites? They did it over the Grease. I loved that one. That was cool.
Albie Azul was in that one.
You know who else is really good at? It's not furry animation, but he is a furry. Kitty0706. Does anyone know him? I highly recommend you go see. He does a lot of Gmod stuff, and the stuff that he does is really freaking funny. I absolutely love him. But
when somebody showed me this, I'm like, "Oh, is this going to be on like TV and stuff?" Because if it is, I'd be stoked.
That'd be fantastic. A furry program on television.
That'd be amazing. We need to invest as a fandom on doing some shit like that.
But it doesn't turn out sexual.
I mean, I thought it was kind of charming, and it's kind of interesting. Obviously there was a fox in there, but it's it's also kind of funny that he's like the thief and whatnot, which I saw coming a mile away. I was like, if there's a fox in this, he's going to be like the thief or the rogue or something. Yep, and because of archetypes.
And stereotypes.
It looks interesting, and I would definitely like to see more of it.
I'm definitely going to take a look at it afterwards because
I was just trying to look it up and I can't find it.
What was that? Wasn't that medieval style animation I saw a while back? Con preparation is something that I've always really had a fascination with, that I've always had to do constantly, but I've never actually been able to go to a con, which kind of disappoints me. Like, what you need to do, you need to make sure everything is mapped out the way you want to. Like, I've talked to a bunch of other furs that literally have their entire con scheduled. It's like, okay, so this panel is at this time, and then I'll have some free time here where I'm going to get drunk as fuck. But maybe I won't do that because we've got like floor wars or some shit there going on. You've got like the different panels during the different dance competitions or whatever. You have to really prioritize between what would really be worth it to go to and what wouldn't. Like, scheduling is key. Like, you got to make sure that all that's in place before you go off and do some crazy shit and end up really jeopardizing the other thing.
Yeah, you can't do everything at once at a convention. It's just not possible. You don't have the energy. You don't have the time. I personally like to have a general sense of what I'm doing. I don't like to be like that, like, oh, we're gonna go with this at this time, then we're gonna do this at this time. Unless there's like there's like a rehearsal, which I'm gonna be going to with Shock. So something like that, I would definitely have to plan around. But in the general sense, I like to have a little more freedom of travel, so I get to do things that, maybe I would like to see. Oh, I'd like to see this, or I'd like to go there, or I'd like to buy some art at this time. Like, just stuff that goes in general. What you do have to prepare, though, for is, number one, most important thing, money. Number two, most important thing, transportation. Money and transportation are your big things that you have to be concerned about. I have a whole thing where I'm packaged up and I'm good to go. I'm ready to go, like, out the door right now. That's always the good thing. Always pack a week before, and then a couple of days before, go over it and see, maybe I can take this, maybe I can take that. Because then when you're thinking last minute, you're not thinking critically. You're not thinking of, I need to get this, maybe I should have this, maybe I should get that. Like last year, I packed last day, and I completely forgot my freaking toothbrush.
Yeah, like I actually experienced like this is just for vacationing in general, because a con is a vacation. I mean, no matter how you look at it. But I experienced this, like, I packed, like, I'm on vacation right now. I'm up in Virginia. I left some really critical stuff back in South Carolina. You see, I have, like, my grandma's house and my mom's house. My grandma's house doesn't have Wi-Fi, but I'm at my mom's house right now. So when I was at my grandma's house, I was like, I need to catch up on my Skyrim. I got to make sure everything's in order. So I'm going through. I'm like, okay, like, this is the day before I fucking left. Bad idea. Do not make the same mistake I did. I say, okay, PS3, okay, games, clothes, whatever the fuck. And then I end up coming up here and I go back through my bags. I had left my HDMI cable and my controller 5.5 hours away.
That doesn't work.
You do not do that. You make sure that everything is planned ahead and just the way that you want it to work out. Because if you could end up forgetting a big thing that may not seem like it at the time because you're trying to rush to get everything together, but you may have left something that really matters big time.
Yeah, like, you always have to have a bit of leeway before you do something. You always have to plan it out in a general sense. So packaging things, that's one thing. Number two, and this seems to be some sort of really big issue, money. You have to budget. I cannot stress this enough. You have no idea how many stories I've heard where people spend all their money at the convention and they completely forget that they have to get home afterwards. Guys, you're not going to teleport as soon as you're done. You have to get home. I'm lucky enough that I'm driving. So my big thing, gas and tolls. That's it. That's all I got to worry about. Parking. But that's all I got to worry about. For some people, it's airplanes. You have to be there on time. And on time doesn't mean when the plane leaves. On time means about 2 hours before, so you can go through customs and you can get to your line. If you're going on a bus across the border, or if you're going on a bus across state, you have to be there at least an hour before, because you never know what's going to happen. Transportation is a huge thing that goes hand in hand with money. So those two things are big. After that, you got to worry about food, which also ties into money. Is just a freaking huge thing that you always got to look at. But don't do it in one shot if you don't feel like you can.
Yeah. Find some place to park and
just
rest up.
Just relax for a little. Have a bite to eat. Don't think that you have to do it in the full freaking journey. You do not have to do that. Also, big thing, if you're driving at night or if you're driving in a foreign area, because I know there's a couple, Shock left, but there's a couple of people that I know who are driving down from Canada to the U.S. Guys, be prepared. Driving in the U.S. is a lot different than driving in Canada. Canadian drivers are all idiots. U.S. drivers are all idiots with road rage. So you definitely got to understand the laws. You also have to go the conversion from imperial to metric, or vice versa. That's a big thing. You have to be prepared. You've got to do all your preparations beforehand, not last minute. I understand if it wasn't for the last minute, nothing would get done, but try to stay before that. Another big thing, hotels. Big thing. I like to be in control of the hotels all the time. I really do. This year, I don't know what came over me. I think it was because my credit card wasn't paid off at the time. But I had someone else take care of the hotels. It was just a complete disaster.
Yeah, make sure you have your fucking reservations and things set.
Yeah, reservations set.
Because you don't want to go to a hotel and find out, oh no, we don't have you listed. Then what do you do?
Yeah, and there's also, guys, 20 people are not going to fit in one hotel room.
Fire marshal rules says that. Well, that's I don't know how it is in Pennsylvania, but I'm pretty sure it's the same as in Georgia. Fire marshal rules says you can't have more than 4 people staying in a hotel like staying overnight at one time.
Yes.
Bad idea to have more than 4. It's a bad idea to have more than, I would say, 9 in a hotel room at one time, because
Not even
shit
9,
could get
6.
fucked up real quick.
6 is your maximum. You should not have more than 6. Don't invite people you don't know. Don't invite people you know who won't be able to pay. Ask for money up front. You get the money right away. You do not wait. Oh, I'll get it for you at the con. No. If you're splitting the pay, make sure they pay up front. They have the money there and they pay up front. They can't make it, you refund them. You do not wait until they're done. Like, you don't wait until you get there. It's like, oh, wait, I forgot my money. No, you didn't, bitch. You weren't going to pay in the first place.
Yep.
So you always have to have that down. Hotels also a big thing. If you know that there's going to be more than 4 people to a hotel and you only got 2 beds, prepare. You don't have to necessarily sleep on the floor. Nothing says that you can't bring like an air mattress or something. They're not going to care.
Yeah.
Air mattress, your own blanket, shit like that. Just deflate it when you're done, pack it up, and you're good to go. Don't go into a hotel with people you don't know.
Yep.
That's just a rule with everything. If you have friends like, oh, come back to our hotel, we'll chill. Yeah, sure, that's fine. If some stranger says, hey, dude, do you want to go back to my hotel? No. Even if you're like, oh, God, this guy is really freaking hot, or this chick is really freaking hot, I want to go back and do things. You don't know them. That's dangerous. Don't do that. Plan your shit ahead. Be smart. It's not a matter of luck, it's a matter of time. If you do that stuff, it'll happen to you. So be ready. And just as a closing note, when you decide something with a hotel, it's a group decision, not your decision. I don't care if you own the room. I don't care if you paid the most for the room. I don't care if the room has your name written all over it. There are more than you in that room. Hello, Montii. No, at first I thought you were a guy, to be honest with you. I thought Monty Python, and that was a guy thing. I was like, oh, you're a chick. Good.
Yeah, my persona is actually a guy, but the suitor inside is a girl.
Okay. I'm guessing you're here because you're a suitor.
Yes.
Awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been in the fandom for 3 years. I've been studying for 3 years. I have a YouTube channel that has... How do I explain this? I run a YouTube channel with my 2 other best friends, and we're a group of furry dancers. We're known as Furfly Studios. My 2 other best friends are dancers. I taught one of them myself, and she's better than I am.
Do the students surpass the teacher?
Yes.
Awesome.
We all have fursuits. We all, it's just the regular. We either share suits, which is not a good thing to do, but unless you know the person really well, we do videos. There's actually one that we did where everyone mixed up in different suits, so we made it a challenge to the YouTube commenters to see who is in what suit by the dance style. We just play around with our how do I say this, subscribers, get to know people. I'm also an artist, a singer, but I don't really do that professionally. I've entered one dance competition before, and that was my first ever furry convention. That's the word. Okay. And that's it, really.
So you're kind of like a jack of all trades. You do a little bit of everything, but I'm guessing your main thing is dancing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about your fursuit. So your fursuit, did someone else make it for you? Did you make it yourself? What happened with that?
One of my grandmothers, who I don't really spend time with, she's up farther north in my state, but she's a costume maker. So one day I went up, like the day after I made the character, and I was like, oh my god, we should totally make a fursuit. And she was curious as to what it was, so we looked up tutorials, and the day after I had made the character, we made the suit together. And 3 years later, of course, my character has changed greatly, and I'm hating to spoil this right now, but I'm having a second suit made right now by my best friend. She's really pro at fursuit making.
Awesome. That's really interesting. I've never actually heard of family projects working together on a fursuit. That's actually really, really cool.
My step grandma has actually offered to help me with my fursuit because she's a seamstress. So
Yeah.
so she is working on my fursuit down in South Carolina. At least I hope she is as we speak.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really, really, really cool. I like that. I like when family members get together to do something for the fandom. I think that's really cool because, it's a community of understanding eventually, and, you grow together.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you were talking about, I'm guessing you've been to more than one convention. Do you have any that you're going to be going to recently? Like, are you going to go to Anthrocon? Or are you going to go to a different one around the area?
I'm in October. I'm going to my local convention, which was my first furry convention last year, Arizona FurCon this year, and I might go to Phoenix Comic Con again, which was the first ever convention I went to. Is a great yes.
I'm going to tell Monty what I told you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Monty, I just realized, on the YouTube app for iPhone, when you scroll through on your opening page and it's got like suggested channels you might like.
I don't have iPhone, but sure.
You were on my suggested channels list, and I looked at a couple of your videos. I'm actually thinking about subscribing.
Oh.
What are the odds?
Oh.
I'll totally subscribe.
Yeah, I totally. You know what, dude? Just post your
type in the chat
link at the end of this, like for your page, and we'll put it in the podcast.
Yeah.
And so, continuing with cons.
Oh, sorry to be cut off by my computer, but as I was saying, Anthrocon we are going to, and then we're coming back down in October. We're probably going to do the third year of AZ FurCon.
Awesome, that's always cool. And what have the con experiences been like for you?
Phoenix Comic Con was my first ever convention. It was an anime, but there were furries there. Bad idea, too crowded, way too hot. It was in the middle of June or July, and just I enjoyed it because it was my first con, but I didn't really necessarily like heat and suiting.
That's totally understandable. Have you been? I guess that was your first one. What was your next couple?
The next one was AZ FurCon 2013. I only went for one day of the convention, but I had a blast. It was a really well put first convention.
Yeah, man. So you said you've been in one dance competition, and that was at your first one.
Yes.
Do you plan on going on any other ones? Like, do you plan on going to the Anthrocon one? Because I know there's going to be an amateur professional, if that's the case.
Yep.
Awesome. You're going to go for the amateur or the professional?
Amateur. I'm nowhere near pro.
Monty,
well,
you need to.
You can always try.
You need to come to FWA next year so I can meet you.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure she's not made any money, honey.
Well, I was just asking. I mean, I don't know.
That is pretty far away from Phoenix.
Well, considering she was able to go to frickin' Anthrocon.
Yeah, that's right.
I haven't been yet to Anthrocon. It's next year that I'm going, but the reason why I'm going is because my best friend's grandma is taking both of us.
Oh, that's really cool. You guys have, badass grandmothers. What the hell? It's my grandmother's amazing. I absolutely love her, but I don't know if I would ever be able to do the furry stuff with her.
My mom is a furry artist, and she's hopefully gonna be able to take me to Anthrocon, and she's hoping to display a couple of her art pieces. She told me she's gonna be making an FA account pretty soon under the title Mountain Cat, which is spelled with a K.
Well, let's just hope that she doesn't have. Let's just hope she keeps the filter on.
Also, Z, is your mother single?
No.
Damn.
Acharky, bad boy. Go sit in the corner before I spray the
Well,
bottle.
Acharky, if my mom wasn't single, you'd probably have good odds with her because she's only 37.
Groovy.
So
Nice.
I hope to God she never breaks up with my stepdad. Well, not really my stepdad yet, but if she ever breaks up with my stepdad, I'm going to hook her up with you.
Oh dear. Okay, well this isn't eHarmony. This is
Who's your daddy?
Let me keep going.
Yeah, really.
Oh my God, that'd be horrible.
Yeah.
Don't let my heterosexuality scare you away.
Yeah, Acharky's a heterosexual fox. We have no idea how that happened. Yeah, I know. Honestly, we should go buy a lottery ticket. That's some serious luck.
Hey, I have people tell me I'm 1 in a million.
You're like one in nothing.
Well, unless Pharaoh is sitting next to him, then he'd be then they'd be like 2 in 50 million.
Yeah, pretty much. But back to the interview, because, we are in an interview.
Shit, I forgot my bad.
Monty, being in Arizona, I mean, there's definitely a weather difference from down here than it is up there. Do you have any special, little special tricks and trades for people who may be in the hotter regions of North America that are fursuiting? Montii?
I would just mostly suggest for heat. I would suggest drinking and just drink tons and tons of liquid because oh my god, the heat will. And yes, I have seen it. It will either make you pass out. You can die of heat exhaustion. It's horrible. Just drink lots of water and make sure to take off your head when the time is right.
Yes, I think that's to be said with all fursuiting, just because it gets really really hot in there really really quickly. But I would expect in Arizona it gets to about high 30s, low 40s on a regular basis. So it's not like in Pittsburgh where it's going to stay at about 28, 30 degrees, or in Canada up here where we really haven't even had a 30-degree day yet without the humidity. So something like that'd be really something. Well, that'd be great. I mean, I haven't actually seen. There is a few Arizona furs that I know that do have some fursuit experience. I don't know if you may know them. I can't even remember their names right now. Definitely down south, you do see a lot less fursuiter just because it's unbearably hot.
Yeah.
Even in like the mid states, they tend to be few and far between every now and then. Like depending on where you go, but I would definitely say you're like a trooper just for being in extreme heat and going in fursuit anyway. It's like putting on your parka in the middle of a friggin' heat wave.
Yeah, I mean, there are actually, surprisingly, on meetup.com, Arizona Furs is the third largest meetup group for furries. We have over 700 members here in the
insane.
It is. It's
really
crazy.
Cool. You guys are all insane because you all have like this group death wish of dying of heat stroke or something. I don't know.
I mean, I can't believe that, like, thinking about that, I mean, I can, like, you mentioned something about the southern states earlier, like, I mean, Atlanta, of course, but you see, Atlanta's got this magical, what seems like an air conditioner
It's
right over top of it. But
Yeah,
Arizona is desert all the way through.
It's all location. You know what I mean? If you're out east or out west, you definitely have the ocean breeze to cool you down, especially out east, because the Atlantic's a cruel bitch. But
yeah, I know I live in the northwest region of Ohio, and while it is fairly hot right now, it's only hot because it is only 80 degrees here, and this is our summer. And granted, I think it was a year ago when we had like record-breaking high temperatures because it was getting up to like high 90s if one day when it was in the triple digits. But again, that is a rarity, all things considered, and there was a massive heat wave that was going on all over the country. Ohio, for the most part, is fairly cold, though. It gets very cold. So
I'm 2 hours north of you. Don't talk to me about cold. We had minus 48 degrees Celsius this year. That was where
oh shit!
It was colder than the surface of Mars for 2 weeks straight in Alberta.
I think it was negative 28 here last winter, but
that's some insane stuff. But I mean, props to you for fursuiting in that heat. That takes a lot of balls. So
yeah, and
really.
she's a girl too, so that's saying some shit.
Yeah, honestly, I can't hear your interview over your metal balls clanking. So, do you have any like closing statements? Is there anything you want to say? Any shout outs you want to make?
My YouTube is WuskyTon928, but all I gotta say is really, if you can dance, you just gotta try. I mean, no one starts like, unless you're like Flux, who's a fursuit maker that just did his first suit. That's like boom, magic. You have to learn somewhere.
Yeah.
You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. Because if your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance,
I have a story to tell for that actually.
Go for it.
Starburst, the little yellow fursuiter in my channel, she's the one who's also who's taking me Anthrocon. When I first met her, I met her online, and we met at a fur meet. The second time I ever met her, I asked her, so you want to do a YouTube video or dance or something? And she told me, oh, I don't dance. And she is the one that I mentioned earlier that is better than me now.
That's awesome, man. You could say that with any sort of art respect, and definitely in the artist section of the fandom. The artists that are more popular and have a lot more views and usually have really, really good art, that didn't happen overnight. That happened for years and years of hard work.
That's a good example for her. I mean, she started out not knowing what she was doing, and then she took a bunch of art classes, and now she's like an amazing artist. I mean, when I first met her, I met her online through DeviantArt, and when I met her, I thought she was either at least 20, and she's
And
like...
I'm guessing that wasn't her age.
When I met her, she was 12.
Are you serious? Wow, young furry, man. I love that. I love the young community getting in there.
Yeah, she is now 13, and I'm 14, so...
Oh my god, you guys are so young.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, now I feel old, and I'm like the second youngest here.
Yeah, we're the youngest out of AZ Furs.
Hey,
Well, I'm
you know
17, so...
Oh, okay, so you are younger than me. Jesus Christ.
It's English. It makes sense.
Hey, je peux parler français plus mieux que je peux parler l'anglais. That means I can speak French better I can speak English. Okay, well, I guess that would bring this to a really nice end.
Yeah,
We did a really good job, guys.
Yeah, we didn't do too bad.
thank you for having me.
No, anytime. You know what? You're a joy to talk to. And you're definitely vibrant of sorts. So, Anthro Talent is what Jerry Husky runs. It's a YouTube channel that promotes furry artists in the way of dancing, singing, and any kind of talent that you think you do. Besides pole dancing, let's not do that. We're not that desperate.
I mean, I can sing a little bit, and after in the after show conversation, I can show you guys a little bit of it if you want me to.
Yeah. You know what, dude? I love when artists show their stuff. That's always cool with me. But that's what Anthro Talent is. I am part of it. Jerry runs it, and we always love to have more people. We always love to show people what's happening. So.
I know I myself, something that I usually plug is I create content for a website called gamingforever.com, which is actually spelled gaming F-U-R-V-E-R. Gaming, wait, F-U-R-E-V-E-R.
There you go.
I've gotta give you some big props because I met a couple of my best fur friends on PlayStation Network because of your website.
Awesome. And do keep in mind, it's not my website per se. I merely am one of the dudes that happens to make stuff for it. That being, some of the various Let's Play videos that I've posted, which are on the site as well as on our YouTube channel. And our podcast, which is posted every Monday now, which is called GFBS, and you can tune into me if you love hearing the sound of my voice so much, as well as other members of the crew that I talk with. So
You have a beautiful voice, man. I'm gonna tune in.
Like, you can be the next Morgan Freeman.
you are behaving appropriately at that. Thank you.
Monty, you got anything you want to put out there? Well, besides your channel, obviously.
Yeah, basically. Thank you for having me, and shout out to Black Fang Starburst and AZ Furs, really.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Wonderful.
And I would also like to take a shout out just because I'm going to AnthroCon. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'm going to AnthroCon, and Cord is going to AnthroCon, and a bunch of us are actually going to AnthroCon. And we would love to see you there, and hope you have a safe, fun, and, jolly old good time. So I think that's about it. We've done pretty well, and why don't we wrap this up?
Yep. Oh, and Cord, if you're listening to this, please don't ban me for doing this.
And I'd like to make a couple shout outs myself to some of my really good friends at the Xana Creation Studio. A shout out to Paradox the Wolf, Pharaoh Fox, and B.
Amen. So, thank you for listening in, and join us next time for Fur's Greatest Podcasts, usually hosted by Cord Kitty, but we have taken over right now because we're tired of his shit. We absolutely love him. Cord is a great guy.